Come on, give God a praise. That's why we're here, folks. That's why we are here. Good morning. Let me add my welcome to all of you. If you're a first-time visitor today, let me encourage you, please come back next week. Do not judge this church by today. I live in New York. I've been around the world probably too many times. And first time here, so Pastor, thank you very much. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Usually when I go to a church once, I never get invited back because I just kill everybody on the first trip. So it's nice to have all of you here. I just got back from the Philippines yesterday. When you do what I do for 50 years, this is my 50th year of full-time ministry. And the sound isn't right, guys. Clean up the sound. Clean it up a little bit. I got a long week. That'd be helpful. Thank you. When you have seen 23 people murdered in front of you, when you've been in enough fights and shootouts in different parts of the world, bring it down just a notch. It's a little too loud. Bring it down to here. Thank you. You realize that life, not because it's fleeting, not because it's temporal, but when you make choices on how to live your life. And that evolves as you go through this journey. I'll be 70 years old this year. On my 70th birthday, I'll be climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. I don't know whose idea that was. It was not mine. Somehow I got roped into that stupid project. So pray for me in October. But we're using it to build awareness, raise support for the kids. But today, it's just going to be a different kind of day. The challenge in the couple of minutes I've got with you guys is to bring two dramatically different worlds. Bring them together and try to make it palatable for folks so that not only do they understand it, but that it puts something into motion. I learned years ago in ministry that it's not so much of what you accomplish in life as what you put into motion. My prayer for this service, pretty simple. Something will click today. Something will connect, whether it's here, whether it's in the east side, northeast. For those of you watching in the northeast campus, I wish I could be there, but this is the best thing, I guess. Whether it's here, whether it's over there, something will connect today that will put something in motion in your life. I was talking to the folks in the back before we came out this morning. One of our guys was in Peru on the Amazon 2 weeks ago. And kids there, of course, in so many of those parts of the world, as you guys know, don't have the opportunities that all of you here have. And I'm going to park here for just a minute. And I'm going to say this as nicely as I can. But because I'm not Singaporean, I'm a New Yorker. It may not come across as nice as you'd like it. But you ought to thank God every day you live where you live. I'm going to say that again. You need to thank God every day that you live here. Every day. He was feeding the kids, and they had some rice, little cups of rice. And as I was telling Pastor, I think because they had made some hot chocolate, and you guys know over there, those kids never had simple things like hot chocolate. So they're feeding the kids the rice, the hot chocolate. And I've seen this a couple of times. Last time I saw this was in Haiti. And this little guy, little 3-year-old guy, he's trying to eat this rice and hot chocolate, and it looks like he's going to throw up. He's starting to gag. And I'm thinking, just in my experience, it was probably the aroma, the smell of the hot chocolate. It was pretty strong. And as the kid was starting to look like he was going to throw up, parasites, worms, started coming out of his mouth to go after the food that the kid was eating. So I will say it one more time. You ought to thank God you live here. Amen? Yeah. But to whom much is given, much is required, my friends. So I'm going to be talking to you today differently. You have a great pastor here. You have a great team. These are some of the nicest people I've ever met, because I don't live with nice people. I'm not around nice people much. So when I'm actually around nice people, it's kind of a bonus. But just understand, it's just today's maybe not going to be as nice. I wish I could be as nice as him. But I live in Brooklyn. It just kind of doesn't work like that. But I'm hoping today we can see some things that'll maybe put something into motion. You all good with that? Everybody good? Good so far? Yep, great. You're not really a guest speaker unless you're selling something. That's the true test. If you've arrived as a guest speaker, so not to be outdone by these other knuckleheads, I too have the missionary paraphernalia on the back table. Let me tell you guys real quick what's back there, so we don't have to answer the same question a couple hundred times. If you have never read the book, get a close-up on this, guys, so the folks up in the cheap seats can see this. Love you guys. I'm with you. With you in the cheap seats. It's all good. It's all good. But the book, Whose Child Is This? It's in 32 languages, has really become the kind of the staple book, even for here in Singapore. Several young ladies came to KL, heard me speak 20 years ago, got the book, came to New York, came back to Singapore, started bus ministry. Some of the curriculum we've done has been used in Singapore for years. This book tells how Metro has become the largest Sunday school in the world today. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, but more than that, it will take your heart out of your chest, put it in front of you, and make you look at yourself through a different set of eyes. That's what this is. It's required reading in many of the larger churches in the world. I have a PhD from the University of Wales. I don't usually say that much because that was the biggest waste of time and money that I've ever done in my life. And I know that education in this part of the world is God. I've been coming to this part of the world for a long time. I get you guys. I do. I get, hi. I got it. I'm good with it. But see, the PhD never taught me how to drive the Sunday school bus in New York to pick up poor kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. PhD never taught me how to do Sunday school in the North Cemetery in Manila, where I was 2 days ago. Never taught me that. Taught me a lot of things, I think. That's what they told me when I paid them. I'm still not completely convinced. But I'm working on a medical degree now just because of what you saw there, working with the kids in parts of the world. I got shot in Afghanistan or in Syria. It's about 8 months ago. I took a bullet, Russian sniper caught me in the back. I was wearing my bulletproof vest. The vest caught it, but it busted a couple of ribs, threw me into some rocks, fractured my skull. I was in the Afghanistan run. I was telling the kids yesterday, a lady was, I can't tell you exactly where it was. It's an undisclosed, it's just number 18. That's all I can tell you. but it used to be an old Israeli camp back in the Yom Kippur War. And we are able to use it now to work and help the kids medically, do Sunday school for them. And I saw a gal walking up holding a boy. I didn't know it was her son, little guy. And she was trying to come to the gate. She fell, dropped the kid, and I'm yelling at the guy. I said, open the gate. And it's a pretty tight security thing, as you guys would guess. And so he was panicking. I said, open the gate, or I'll come up there and open it myself. And she opens the gate, and I grab the interpreter, and I pick up the kid, and the mom, I found out, was the mom, just screaming hysterically. And I told the interpreter, I said, calm her down. Find out what we can do. And he finally got her to calm down. And I saw that her boy's hand was wrapped, some kind of like a sheet, like a bandage of some kind. And she said, please help my son. I asked her, I said, what happened? And she unwrapped her son's hand, and his hand was gone. And they were in one of the bombing zones where Assad is running bombing runs on the ridge about 4 clicks out. And a piece of shrapnel from the bomb had cut his hand off here. And she had tried to wrap it up. And she said, please, can you help my son? So I'm standing there, right? And don't wonder why I'm like this, guys. I've done this a long time. And every time this stuff happens, you feel it come up again. You feel that anger and that frustration. I said, I don't know how I can help him. And she reaches in a paper bag and brings out her hand, her son's hand. She said, please help him. Yeah, you tell me, man. You tell me. I said, I can't help him. I can't help him. Yeah. We live in a tough world, guys. You know that. We live in a tough world. And it's days like today, it's churches just like this that have the chance to do some pretty extraordinary things. It's a privilege. Thank you, sir. Again, you have no idea. Thank you. Thanks for letting me be here. That's what the book is. I've got some other stuff out there. I don't write books just to write books because I have nothing to do. But I'll say something on television or in a meeting like this, and somebody will say, Pastor Bill, you need to put that in the book. So the other books, the Teflon Rhino, if you're going to make it in life, you got to have skin thick as a rhino, made out of Teflon. Nothing sticks to you. Christians get offended way too easily. Or is that just in America? I don't think so. We get offended. Somebody doesn't shake your hand, and you get that dopey little Christian look. Don't shake my hand. Come on, guys. Come on. We got bigger fish to fry. We got bigger fish to fry. Then, boy, somebody missed you. Whatever. Just finished this one, running with turtles. How do you run with a turtle? Very carefully. What else we got? Hey, if you've never read this one here, a lot of them were gone yesterday. We've only got a few left, but if we run out by the time you get there, who has never read this book? Who's never read the book? Hold up your hands. Let me see. Oh, well, that's depressing. Where you guys been, man? Well, I got to give one to the pastor's wife. This is important. There you go. Merry Christmas. Okay. There you go. There you go. I'm trying to talk her into going to the Philippines with me. We're going to run, and I'm going to let her run with the kids over there, and we're going to do it. And the last thing, I want to get into the message quickly. Last thing, you get a close-up of this, guys, if you can. Some of you have already been asking about these this morning. These are some of the pictures of the kids that we have committed our lives to. Most of you guys, because this is my first time here, you don't know me, but my mother left me on a street corner when I was little. She walked away. She never came back. She was alcoholic. And I sat on that street corner for 3 days. No food, no water, until one Christian man stopped. Just an ordinary Christian guy. His own kid was in the hospital, dying of leukemia, but he still stopped. Gets out of his car, walks over to where I'd been sitting, puts his hand on my shoulder, and just says, "Are you okay?" That's it. It's funny, right? No bright lights, no praise and worship. Just a little boy that nobody wanted, and the ordinary Christian guy. And I used to stutter really bad when I was little. And I told him, I said, "My mother's gone, and I'm just hungry." Immediately gets his wife. She brings me some food and water. He gets on the phone in 5 hours. 5 hours after this meeting on the street corner, he sends me to a Sunday school camp. It's where I heard the story of Jesus for the first time. And my life, how can we say this, Pastor? Put on a different pathway. I can go into my PhD mode. It put me on a different trajectory. You want to just slap those stupid PhD people. Irritates the fire out of me. But my life was changed. And who knew, right, that the little boy that was left on a street corner, whoever thought that I'd be here with you guys, right? And I don't know if that grabs you like it grabs me. Probably not. But isn't that the funniest thing? The little kid that nobody wanted. Yeah. So that's what this is, guys. It's that simple. You'll have a chance today to take one of these kids. They've got tables set up. As soon as you walk out there in the, what do they call it, the food court? Is that what it is? Is there a name for it? The what? Connect Corner. I knew there was a name for it. It's Singapore. Everything's got a name. Everything's got a name. The Connect Corner. That's it. I'll be hanging out there for a while. If you want me to sign your book, talk to me about stuff, I'll be there. You will have these pictures, these folders. You'll be able to sponsor one of these kids. It's a $35 Sing a month commitment. We have a metro office here in Singapore. They can keep you connected to your sponsored child. You can be as involved in their life as you choose to be. And if you ever wonder, does this like really do something? Does it do what it's supposed to do? I was trying to talk to the folks last night in one of the services about, it was a gal in one of our supporting churches here in Singapore. She sponsored one of the kids in one of the services 2 years ago. So last year, she said, "Pastor Bill, I want to go visit my sponsored child. Can I go with you?" "Yeah, let's go." So I take people every March to run with me for a week over there. And so she didn't know this, none of us. Joe, where's Joselle? The one doing the pictures? Is she in some secret room somewhere that I can't see? Joe, give me the first picture. Ah, here we go. Perfect. This is the little girl, Cherry Ann. That's her mom. They live in the cemetery, not by the cemetery, in the cemetery. You saw me in the video going by the tombs. Every 5 years, the government clears to, if they need to recycle these tombs, they can bust them open, pull the skeletons out, throw them on the ground so they can put another dead person in there. But what a lot of people don't know, you've got 1,000 squatters that live in the cemetery, okay? So she sponsored 2 years ago, Cherry Ann, gal from here. So she's all excited. So we do Sunday school inside the cemetery for the kids that live there. And so we just finished Sunday school, and I'm over here talking with the team, but I see the sponsor and some of our lady staff members looking at Cherry Ann. I thought, what? Now what? What's going on now? So I walk over there. Joe, give me another shot. You got the next shot? So they're looking at something. Do you have a close-up, Joe, of that? Yeah. She was born without an anus. And so they cut this hole in her side. And once, I told you this wasn't going to be your normal Sunday, okay? So some of you are little. Guys, I don't live like you. You know that now. So stay with me, okay? They put a tube in her once a week to drain her. And then they just stick the bandage on her. Well, she lives in the cemetery, so this thing's constantly infected. The sponsor looks at this and then looks at me, says, Pastor Bill, we need to do something. You see how this works? When you get close enough to the urgency of life, the urgency does something, doesn't it? Yeah, you betcha. It demands something from you. She made some phone calls to some Christian doctors here in Singapore. Guy said, I'll do the operation free. Christian anesthesiologist said, I'll give my time ever. 2 Christian nurses. Thank God for Christian people. Amen? Thank God for Christian people. Coming together. That's what makes this work, guys. Give me the next picture, Joe. So we're working. We get her over here, find a place for them to stay. The mom comes, and of course, everything, the mother doesn't have a birth certificate, so here we go. So we got to jump through all these hoops. So we're getting ready to do the operation. They're doing the scans. Give me another picture, Joe. They found she's got worms in her lungs. So now they got to get the worms out. That takes 3 weeks. Give me another shot, Joe. What else you got? So this was the day of the operation. I've got people praying for Cherry Ann all over the world. The sponsors there, sponsors cell group, it's everybody. This was a team effort, guys. But that sponsor was the driver. She drove this thing. She made up her mind that she was going to save this girl's life. Give me another shot, Joe. What else you got? They got in. A lot of her intestines had been dormant because they hadn't been used for years. Give me another shot, Joe. What else you got? She's in recovery. The mom's there. We've got our team members in there praying. I tell you this so that when you look at these pictures afterwards, you understand this isn't something from National Geographic. Okay? The reason why I'm showing you this, see, you got to understand, I was this kid. I was the kid nobody wanted. That's why this is still real to me. Give me another one, Joe. You got another? She got through it. She's able to function like a normal little girl for the first time in her life. She's got a shot at living a normal life. We have one more, Joe, we have one more picture. Yeah, they got her a bear, got her on the plane from here back to Manila. You got a chance today, guys, to make a difference in a kid's life. That's all I'm saying. So you go by, we got kids from Metro Philippines, Metro Kenya. If you decide you want to go there with me, visit your sponsored kid, Philippines, love to have you. Pastor, again, thank you, sir. Thank you for allowing me to share that. I hope you can help us, guys. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you. I want to talk to you quickly today about something that my life, and I told you, my life is kind of weird in so many ways. It's not the typical preacher life. Not good, not bad, just different. Different places I go and the opportunities that God has given me. But I was speaking at a leadership conference in Amsterdam. So I'm walking from the hotel to the auditorium. I was a little bit early. And I don't do Starbucks. Now, I'm not going to ask you who here goes to Starbucks, because if you do, I'll slap you myself. In Jesus' name. You know, if you slap somebody in church, you got to do it in Jesus' name. You got to try to make it spiritual, but I'll slap you myself. What do they get for those big latte things now. How much do they cost in Singapore? What is? Oh, you don't want to act like you go. Nobody wants to answer. You know you go. You know you do. You just don't want to answer it. It's like in the States, it's like $10, $11 for this big. Are you nuts? For a cup, make your own coffee. Give the money to missions. Give stinking Starbucks that kind of money. That's another message. I'm getting off track. I've offended a Starbucks person already. So I'm walking to the auditorium. I like history. I'm a history guy. So I see this Dutch museum. I think, let me walk around a little bit, see a little bit of Dutch history. So I'm walking through this kind of not very interesting Dutch museum, but I see this statue. Come here, brother. Right on there. Come here. Come here. Come here. I'm going to pick on you a little bit. See, when you sit on the front row, you never know what's going on. So I see the statue. Give me a hand. Here's the statue. This is it. It's two hands clasped like this. This is the, you getting a close-up of this? Yo, camera person, wake up. All right? That's a New York thing. Yo, getting close. All right? So you got two hands clasped like this. That's the whole statue. That's it. I thought, well, that's weird. Okay, you can sit down. Thank you. Thank you, brother. That's the strangest thing. So I'm reading the stanchion next to it that explains what I'm looking at. So I'm speed reading this thing, and I thought, man, I know this story. I've read this somewhere. Then I got to the name. Then it all came back. It was the story about a man by the name of Dirk Willems. He was a Christian in Amsterdam at a time in Dutch history when Christianity not very popular, and Willems was extremely, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? You got PhDs, come on. Somebody help me here. Very demonstrative. See, I'm earning my PhD now. Very outgoing, very in your face about Jesus. And the government wasn't having it, didn't like it. So they put out a hit on Willems. They're going to kill him because of his faith. Willems catches the news, he's running. Now watch this. He's running for his life. It's the middle of winter, it's February. So he's running to get away from the government. They're going to get him, take him in, burn him at the stake because of his faith. He's running across this frozen lake, right? The guy from the government that's chasing him, big guy. Willems, kind of a smaller guy. The guy that's chasing him is a bigger guy. So Willems gets across. He gets over the lake. Good to go. The big guy that's chasing him gets about halfway across, falls to the ice, cannot swim. Watch this. Can't swim, screaming for help. Nobody's around except, stay with me here. Willems hears this guy screaming. This is the guy that's taken him in to be burned at the stake. Willems sees the guy drowning, runs back across the lake, reaches down, grabs the guy by the hand, the statue, grabs him, pulls him out, saves his life. The guy still takes him in. Watch this. It's 2 weeks later. So they're getting ready to burn him at the stake, hands tied behind him, crowd gathers. You know the drill, okay? Well, the story of how Willems had saved this guy's life has circulated through the city. And now everybody's gathered to see, are they going to kill him? Is this going to happen? So they're just getting ready to light him up. And somebody from the audience yells, hey, Willems, why'd you do it? Why'd you save the guy's life? Somebody else over here, you knew he was taking you to your death. Why'd you do it? Willems looks down at the crowd and he said, it was just a reflex. Don't miss this, guys, in Jesus' name. My question to you in this message And in a couple of minutes we've got left, we're going to try to answer it. Why is it then that some Christians have that kind of reflex? Some Christians just, it's like the guy that picked me up, right? His own kid was dying. He had every reason not to stop and pick me up. But he stops and puts something into motion in my life. Why is it that some Christians, they just get it? It just, and other Christians just, or they're just like some of you are now. Just so you know, I can get $100 for a good watch. I sell them on the street in New York for people that are looking at their watches in church. So if I see you looking at your watch, it's not uncommon for me just to come up and take your watch. It's like if your phone goes off, I'll take your phone. I can get $100 for a used phone. I give the money to missions. Y'all scared now, aren't you? You just turned your phone off. I know. Works really good, doesn't it? Yeah. What does it take then for somebody to see the need? And we can call it a reflex, we can call it a reaction, put whatever term you want on it. But my question to you is, what then makes the difference? You go to the same church, read the same Bible, hear the same message, the same stimulus, the same impetus. Everything is the same. But some people get it. Don't even have to fit. When that call came to go to Afghanistan, I didn't flinch. I didn't flinch. I said, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm 70 years old, man. I still get in fights, and I like it. That's a whole different message. I was in a debate. I used to do a lot of debates when I was younger. I always have to have the last word. It's kind of a New York thing. And we were in this debate in Tulsa, Oklahoma, about how did the Apostle Paul make this transition, go through this metamorphosis. Ooh, that's a good word. The metamorphosis of being the murderer of Christians and turns into a missionary. Everybody's got an opinion. This is a bunch of theologians. Don't ever spend time with theologians. They're quite exhausting. They're not as smart as they think they are, but some people just like to hear themselves talk. You ever been around people like that? Me too. So they're going on and on. Finally, I said, gentlemen, I have the answer. Everybody, ooh, what is it going to be? I said, Paul tells it himself. It's one verse. One verse. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 14. Here's the answer to the question. Here's how Paul went through the transition that he went through. Now, if they put that text on the screen, and I bet you they were just getting ready to, so I'm going to beat them to the punch, because I can guarantee you they would put it up in the NIV or in some bogus translation. Because I can talk to you in Greek if you'd like me to. I don't want to bore you with that, but I knew they were going to do it. Go, do it again. Do it again. Put it up there, because I'm going to prove. Here we go. I told you. What version is that? Somebody tell me. That nobody wants to talk to me now. They're all scared. See? And the love of Christ compels us. That's probably NIV or, See, that's not even an accurate translation. You know why? Because that word compels, it's not even the right word. In the King James, it says that the love of Christ constrains us. Yeah. See, they're trying to make it better now. They're changing colors. They're trying to make it. You ain't going to change it, Bubba. Just leave it alone. You already blew it. So just leave it. If I was you, I'd just take it off the screen. If I was pushing the buttons, that's what I'd do, because you already messed it up. It says the love of Christ constrains us. That word constrains is one of those unique words, when it's transliterated from the Greek, it's actually the Greek word suneko. Why is this important to you? I'm glad you asked. That word suneko is one of these unique Greek words that when it was used, it had three primary definitions. Why is this important? As you guys know, whether it's Mandarin, English, whatever, it's when you look the word up in the dictionary, you've got what? You've got the primary definition, the secondary definition, depending on the text and the context of how the word is used. That's why this word constrains, or syneko, as Paul used it. This is the only time that this word is used in this context in the whole New Testament. Look at me. Don't miss this. It's the only time it's used. Why? You're going to find out in a minute. Because Paul says it in his own words. If you've got your own Bible, you can look at it. If you don't have a Bible, slip over next to a Christian. They'll have one. You can look at it on your own. The love of Christ, all by itself, listen to me, does something. My God. Nothing else needed. No secret sauce necessary. But when you understand what Jesus really did, not what somebody told you he did, not what you think he did, not what you read he did, not what your grandmother told you he did, but when it connects with you, when it's real. See, I'm a grateful man. I understand exactly the love of Christ. I should have been dead a long time ago. I've walked away from 3 plane crashes. Nobody walks away from 3. Okay. Dengue twice, malaria twice, yellow fever, tuberculosis, shot twice, thrown off of a building, and that was just from the staff. That was a joke. It's just, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you. Guys, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't even be around anymore. At 70 years old, I woke up this morning. Yep. I got another chance today. See, when you get this old, you're just thrilled that you woke up. Some of you young people have no idea how grateful you ought to be. I'd love to just walk out there and grab some of you right now. Get you to understand this. And the love of Christ constrains us. It's got 3 primary definitions. These last couple minutes, I'm going to give you the 3 primaries. You may want to write this down. You don't have anything to write with because you just use your dopey phones. So you can use your dopey phone or your dopey iPad, but just write it on something, little something, something. I'm going to give you the 3 definitions, and then I'll get out of your way. Paul said, the love of Christ did something to him. It constrained him. Definition number 1. The word constrains, syneko. It means it forces motion. And actually one of the old Chambers dictionaries, which there's 7 or 8 volumes that shows how the English language actually came into being in those first definitive words. I think it was volume 7 of Chambers. It's a great definition when it says, it forces motion in an unnatural manner. The love of Christ, when it connects, give me that thing. Okay, you on the camera. All right, wake up. Get this. Here we go. I take this all over the world. It's a little difficult to explain going through airports, but you'll understand that. Here's the power source. Here's the plug. Okay? I've heard Christians say, I've been walking close to the Lord all my life. Now that sounds good in a testimony, but guess what? Yeah, exactly. You got this. Here's the source. Here's the plug. So what they're saying is they're close to the Lord. Is anything going to happen if it's this close? No. I can put it this close. Get a real close up of that. Not my face. I'll put it down here. There you go. Oh, you're still doing this. Look at this. Get it this close. Is anything going to happen? No. But watch me. When this connects to the source, all the little molecules in this plug and wire do not get together and vote. They don't go to a prayer meeting. They don't get with the board of deacons. I'm sorry, it's the subliminal thing that just overcomes me sometimes. They don't get, no, look at me, watch me. When this connects to this, my God, this all by itself forces something to happen whether it wants to or not. God help us. Do you understand what Paul is saying? He said, the love of Jesus Christ all by itself will push you, it'll press you, it'll move you. I don't know if I'm called. Shut up. I am going to slap you myself. In Jesus' name. I'm not called. I'm not called to go out and win the Lord. I'm not, oh my God. When you understand what Jesus really did, guess what, folks? You understand now why I still drive the bus in New York? I still drive the bus to pick up the kids for Sunday school. Why? You know now, don't you? Every week when I drive the bus, you know who I'm picking up. I'm picking up me. You know why I went to Syria? You know why I went to Afghanistan? I got a call from Yemen the other day. We'll see how that plays. It pushes you. It presses you. You know when you go to the doctor, if you're physical, and you're sitting there and your legs are hanging over the table, you know when they take that little, what do they call that thing? Some little hammer, mallet, whatever they call it, and they smack you right here. And if you have any life in you at all, when they smack you here, you don't get to vote. Even if you're going to, I'm not going to move, I'm not going to move. I'm not going to move, I'm not going to move. When they smack you here, guess what, Bubba and Bubettes? When they smack you here, it don't matter what you want to do or don't want to do. Why do you think Paul uses the word syneko? Do you get it? It moves you. It pushes you. It presses you. That's what today is about. Give me a picture, Joe. You got a picture? I think we've got another one here. I want to show you this real quick. Yeah, I took this picture of this little boy. It's in the Dominican Republic. Not uncommon when kids are born with these kind of issues. The parents check them into a hotel under a different name because they're never coming back to get them. This little boy's been in the hospital for almost 3 years. I'll tell you this, you can do with it as you wish. If you want to look up here, if you want to look down here, and over on this side, you know why I took the picture of him? You want to know why my mother left me? You want to know the backstory? I don't talk about this much, but I think this will help you to understand what I'm saying. Because when I was his age, I looked almost just like that. There's been a lot of operations, guys, over the years. A lot of operations. Yeah. And when that man sent me to the Sunday school camp, I was sitting in the back. I'd never heard the story of Jesus, never once. But the man said, if you want Jesus, come up here and give your life to him. I didn't understand that. I was 12 years old, but I got out of my seat, came up here, nobody would pray for me. Every other kid that came had somebody praying for them. Nobody would pray for me. It took me 2 days of asking. You know why nobody prayed for me, right? Sure you do. See, I still had the same clothes on that they picked me up off the street in because I didn't have any other clothes. I looked like this. I stuttered. I still have a deformed rib cage right here because I had rickets from malnutrition when I was little. Nobody wanted to pray with the little dirty boy. I tried to pray. I never prayed. I remember what I said. You know what I said? I said, God, nobody wants me. I said, but if you want me, here I am. And for the first time in my life, I felt like somebody loved me. How'd that happen? The love of... Why do you think I do what I do all over the world? I told Pastor, no matter what it took, I was right in the middle of that plane crash mess on the Manila airport a couple of days ago. I was right in the middle of that whole mess. I told him, I said, I'm going to get here somehow. Why? Do you get it now? I knew that the services yesterday and today were important. Not because of me, but because I know that there are lives in the balance. There are lives here in the balance. I get it. The love of Christ pushes you. It presses you. It moves you. But definition number 2, it keeps you away from something. I had trouble when I was researching this word. I struggled with this. I thought, how in the world can something move you towards something and then keep you away from something at the same time? It made no sense, not grammatically, not in any other way. It makes no sense. And then I believe the Holy Spirit helped me. It hit me. I thought, of course, when you understand what Jesus really did, when that truth connects with you, that truth all by itself, guys, will keep you away from those things that the enemy will keep throwing at you to try to destroy you, to try to destroy your family, to try to take you out. Once you understand what Jesus really did, give me that picture, Joe. There's a picture of me, and yeah, there he is. That's the man that picked me up off the street. I don't show this much. It's a little personal. Actually, it's a lot personal. I took it at Christmas. Every Christmas Eve, I go sit on the corner all night, or I sat for those 3 days. I've done it for years. And then Christmas Day, I spend it with Dave. He doesn't have people to take care of him now, so I get to take care of him. There was a time he had to take care of me. Now, right? Now I get to take care of him. It's my joy. It's my joy. And I asked him, we've had some great conversations. He's 88 now. He won't be around much longer. I know that. So does he. We've had a lot of talks. I said, Dave, why did you stop? Your own son, little David, was dying, but you stopped. Why? He said, I thought that if I could get you into the presence of God one time, something would happen. I guess it did, didn't it? Even at 12 years old, I guess it did. The love of Christ moves you towards something. It keeps you away from those things that'll make you quit, that'll make you walk away. I got the stories, guys. We haven't even touched service today. I can tell you stuff. But some of you could tell me stuff, couldn't you? Sure you could. And I respect that. Moves you towards something, keeps you away from something. But last, number 3, it keeps you in something. In something. Interesting word, this word, syneko. That's why it's only used once in the context. It moves you to, God help us. Paul said it. The love of Christ constrains, and he uses plural. He doesn't do it in the singular, as it's just talking about him. It's a plural. The love of Christ constrains us. If you're sharp enough to understand what Jesus really did, it'll move you to do things you never thought you could do. You never thought you could. Do you ever think I ever had an idea that I'd be doing what I do today? Come on, guys. I couldn't even talk right. I was sick all the time. Yeah. But 200,000 a week hear the story of Jesus, not because of me, but because of one normal Christian who stopped and said, I can take care of one child. Moves you towards something, keeps you away from something, but then it also keeps you in something. In what? Good question, right? The love of Christ will keep you in his love. He'll keep you in his grace. Oh, he'll keep you in church. Well, I don't know if I should go to church. Shut up. Come on, man. Come on. The love of Christ, it'll keep you. Oh, it'll keep you in the ministry. In America, 1,000 preachers a month still quit the ministry. 1,000 quit the ministry. And if you'd ask them, they would swear up and down that God called them into the ministry. Really? Really? So you're telling me that the God who created the heavens and the earth, everything else is made in China, but the God who created, well, it just is. I'm sorry. But the God who created the heavens and the earth that supposedly called you, and you got offended, you got discouraged, you got disillusioned, and you quit, shame on you. Shame on you. 50 years for me this year. 50 years. Not as long as some, a little longer than a lot. Why? I understand exactly what Jesus did on the cross. So we're in Kenya, right? You'll get a chance to see some of the Kenya kids back there after. So we're in Kenya. And it's the places where we are there. It's outside of Nairobi. It's about 3 hours out. And it's a mess. It's just a mess. Hang on, guys. I didn't call for the picture yet, but you can leave it up there. They're so excited. They just want to. They're still upset about the compels thing. They haven't quite recuperated. So we just had 3 kids fall out dead of starvation in this place where I'm going to show you. So I'm kind of laying a context so you know. The food thing, that's what I'm trying to do on this tour. I'm going to get food to feed these kids, one way or the other. I don't know where it's coming from. I talked to some people in Hong Kong the other day. I'm going to get food, one way or the other. And these kids, so I'm in this village outside of Nakuru, right? And they're sitting in, what do you call it? Like little circles. These older men are sitting these kids in circles. I'm thinking, what are they doing with these kids? Now you can put up the picture. All right, put the picture up. There we go. I see this one kid, and this is where I took out my phone. I took the shot of the kid chewing on this hypodermic needle. This village was run by drug dealers. So what these dealers were doing, they were mixing like a cocaine, a liquid coke, and a methamphetamine, mixing it together, putting it in these big needles, sitting the kids in circles, saying, open your mouth, kids, we're going to give you Coca-Cola. So these kids are, and if you know anything about drugs, you see, it's already, see this kid's eyes? It's already affecting him. And I figured out what they were doing, and now you feel it again. Have you ever been angry at something? Like really angry? That's kind of not part of your culture, and I get that. I understand. But until you get angry enough, you're never going to change nothing. I'm sorry, but you're not going to change anything. And I felt it all over again. And I stood up. One of the dealers comes over to me. He goes, oh, you're the preacher. I say, yeah, that's right. And I think he expected me to be one of those sissy American preachers. You know how they are. They all got lace on their underwear. I wouldn't give you a dime for most of them. Did I just say that on Sunday morning? Yeah, I guess I did. Sorry. I told you I probably won't be back. So he thought I was one of these sissy American preachers. He didn't know I lived in Brooklyn. You know, what's up? So I said, yeah, that's right. He goes, well, let me tell you something, preacher. He said, Jesus is never going to be in this village. Drugs is the God of this village. I said, really? He said, yeah, that's right. See, he didn't know what I knew. In 2 weeks, we were starting Metro Sunday School right there, right where we were. And he didn't know that. So I just looked at him, I said, let me tell you something, bro. I said, in 2 weeks, you ain't even going to be around. So you better enjoy this little thing you got while you can, because in 2 weeks, you out. And he just, what do you mean? And there's a lot I wanted to say, but I thought, mouse, leave it for another time. I said, you're just going to be gone. He goes, well, wait. I said, just. That's all I could think of to do. I don't even know why I did it. I should have been able to, with a PhD, you'd have thought I'd have come up with something better than that. But I just, and I just walked off. Because I knew in 2 weeks we were starting. And 2 weeks later, on our very first week, Joe, you got that other picture there? Bring that last picture up. We started Metro Sunday School on the first week. We had over 10,000. Come on, give God a praise. You better give God a praise. You better give God a praise. And that's only the boys. We had the boys on one side, girls on the other. We have a contest between. We couldn't even get the girls in the picture. Take a good look at the picture. Take a good look, man. And how did all this start? Where did all of this stuff come from? One man saw the little boy that nobody wanted, and he chose to stop. Can one person make a difference? Yeah, I think so. Can one person take one kid? Why do you think I got these pictures out? What do you think all this, why do you think I'm even still alive today? The love of Christ moves us. It moves you towards something. He keeps you away from something. He keeps you in something. When I got shot this last time, oh, Pastor Bill, he's tough, but he's going to retire. Retire and go where? Where do people like me go? Singapore? Could you see me living here? Exactly. You're all smart enough to know if I lived here, he'd be having to bail me out of jail about once a month. Because I'd be preaching on the street. I'd be causing so much trouble. I can come here every August for a couple of weeks. That's about my limit for Singapore. No, you know why? Because people like me don't retire. We don't retire. I will do this till the day I die. Oh, that sounds so dramatic. No, I'm too old to be dramatic. I don't need to be dramatic. I've been shot twice. Come on. I don't need to be dramatic. This is it. Why? Because the love of Christ. Willem said it was a reflex. Yeah, I guess it is. Gotta go. Bow your heads.